Welcome back, everybody. We have a great video for you today, and we have a special guest. But first, I'm Christopher Brandon with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network.
And I'm George Williams. I am the Next Search Catalog Coordinator at Northeast Kansas Library System. And joining us today from the San Francisco Maritime National Historical Park Research Center is Heather Hernandez.
Welcome, Heather.
Thank you.
So glad to have you here.
Good to be here.
So I hear that you've got something special to share with us, something that we all should know how to do. But in fact, I think you're going to show us how I'm doing things wrong. In fact, I'm pretty darn positive you're going to show me how I'm doing things wrong with this. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're going to talk about?
So I am a cataloger. I am also a newbie to a lot of things. And this is something that I found was really, really easier than I thought it was. I'm going to show how to add a report to the Koha Community Wiki.
All right.
And I can go ahead and share my screen.
Please do.
This video is sponsored by Koha-US, your place to look for all things Koha. Whether you're just starting out with Koha, or you've been with Koha for a while, Koha-US is a great place to find resources, learn new tips and techniques, or connect with other users and libraries. Koha-US provides excellent information, both original and curated from around the world, including your favorite terrific Every Other Thursday training videos. You'll also find several special interest groups, or SIGs, to connect with, as well as our general monthly meetings where we gather to talk about the latest Koha news. You should also check out the annual Koha Conference, which is held in various locations around the U.S. This year we'll be gathering in Round Rock, Texas. This is a great opportunity to meet with other users face-to-face, and build your Koha network, as well as new friendships. And of course, don't forget about the great presentations. Koha-US is also actively involved in the Koha community by contributing towards new developments. If you are interested in contributing towards Koha-US funded developments, join the Koha-US membership. Your annual membership builds the funds to sponsor new developments in the community. And as a member you also help shape Koha-US with your membership votes, as well as receive a discount on the annual conference. You can also contribute towards developments through a direct donation, or by purchasing some great Koha-US merchandise through our Threadless account. Visit us at koha-us.org to find out more.
Hey, let's get this up here. Can y'all see my screen?
Yep.
We can see your private messages.
That's not the private message screen.
Wait a minute, those are your bank accounts. Never mind.
It's my reading list. This is the reports section of the staff interface to our Koha catalog. And I have a very handy little report here that shows records that have no 245 field. And for those of you unfamiliar with Mark 21, a 245 is very important. It's often the only really required field. And somehow we got records into our catalog without a 245, and this can happen. And this is a really handy little report. So I went to the Koha Wiki, which is at wiki.koha-community.org. Looked at the reports library and found that this handy little report wasn't there, so I wanted to add it. All you need to do is create an account, and it's very simple to do, and it's free. And once you do that, you can add to the wiki. Now, if you have any trouble adding to the Koha Reports wiki, you can always ask for help on the main Koha email list, or you can go here to the new Mattermost Koha Community Chat. It's at chat.koha-community.org. Again, getting an account is absolutely free. And you can go here to the town square area and ask anything. And lots of Koha community people with knowledge and expertise in all kinds of fields hang out here, and people ask all kinds of questions, and everyone's super friendly. So I would suggest going here and just asking for help if you need it with the getting an account at the Koha Wiki or using the Koha Wiki.
That's one thing I would say is that I've heard from a few people lately that they sign up for the wiki, and then they say the wiki tells them that it will send them a verification, an email verification. They never get it. And so if that happens, you want to go to the mailing list or the town square, the Koha chat, and say, hey, this is broken, it's not working. And somebody, the person in charge of the wiki will see that and find you and fix it for you. So
Definitely. And you'll be doing other people a favor who are probably having similar difficulty or who will be signing up after you.
yep.
So then what I do is I go over here on my reports area, and under actions, I pop down the little list and I do preview SQL. And I'm not editing it at all. I can't do any harm here. I'm just looking at it. Then I'm going to go over to the reports library and find a good place to put it. It's a really long contents, but get to know it. There's some great stuff here. It's worth looking at. One of my favorite areas being a cataloger is quality control. And down here is a section called Null Island. And here's reports about records without all kinds of things that records should have or we'd like to have, like bibs without subjects, items without call numbers, null barcode, null locations. So I'm going to go take a look at this. And here is where the reports live. So right here, I'm just going to go into edit source. And yeah, this looks all kinds of code E, but here's the title, Null Island. Biblio items without a Koha item type. Cool. And since I didn't notice any real particular order to them, I'm just going to go to the end.
I will have to say 99% of the time I will usually go to the end of a section because it would be kind of, I don't know, frustrating to bump somebody down the list, especially if they've got a link to something.
It's rude.
It changes the number to them.
It's rude.
Yeah.
Put your stuff, other people went first. You can take your turn.
The other benefit to going down here is if you run into a problem, you can just hit this cancel. It's like, wait, no, I don't know what I'm doing. I think I made a mistake. I'm not sure. Just hit cancel and give it a minute. Okay. That was so instantaneous because of your miraculous editing.
I will say, I'm glad to see how you're approaching it because I approach it slightly different. I don't necessarily edit the whole section. I usually edit the last person's entry and just copy and then paste below it and then make that bottom section mine. Simply because if I edit the entire section, I am more than likely going to get rid of absolutely everybody's thing. If I edit one person's thing, then at the very most, I'm only screwing up one person's entry.
Well,
if
let's
I screw
try
something up.
that. I've never tried that. Let's try it. So what I do is I go here and arrow down. I go back to my report, highlight it all, copy it, and I put it here. Now I'm just going to copy stuff from here, which is the nice correctly formatted wiki bit. So I copy that and I go here and I put it in. And mine is called Records with No 245. I'm going to call that Bib Records with No 245. Then we want some credits. This was developed for me by Bywater staff. So I'm just going to copy that. And I notice here that there's a carriage return. I'm going to copy that. Developer, Bywater staff, module, catalog, purpose. And this is where you can get wordy, and it's good to put in terms that would help people keyword searching on this whole big page.
Yeehaw!
And I think, yeah, status complete. It's the whole thing. Then next comes a carriage return and wiki Cody bit. So I make sure I've got that carriage return and I put in that wiki Cody bit. And then this is the SQL report. And that's my SQL report. And then I've got one last wiki Cody bit. And you can tell that they're the wiki Cody bits because they have these angle brackets.
So they're not the double angle brackets like we do in Koha, which we call the hungry alligators. So these must be the less hungry alligators.
Snacking alligators. And oh my
Or
goodness, the
HTML.
typo. And if everything looks good, there'll be a summary comes from when I was editing before.
Yeah, it's so you need to update that. That's one of the things that
Yeah.
That's one of the things I sometimes forget to do when I do it this way. Is I add something new by copying what was there before, and I end up with it ends up with a comment in the wiki saying that somebody updated this when it was really just adding a whole new report. So
Mm-hmm. If you were just doing tiny little thing like fixing a typo, then you could click this is a minor edit. And looks good. I like to open the preview to see. Yeah, that's looking pretty okay.
yep.
All right. Save. And here's the one that I edited, and there it is. So thank you for telling me about that, Christopher, that we can just go and edit that one. And if I go to the top and I go back to that null lists or that null island list, you'll see that the wiki automatically does this fancy numbering and automatically puts it up here in the table of contents, which is handy. So you don't have to think to go back and put that there.
Like I'm logged into the wiki over here on this screen. And one of the things you can do when you edit and look at the page is you can put it on your watch list. And I don't remember exactly, I think is it the star? Oh, I was logged in. So why did it tell me that I'm not logged in?
It does that a lot. I don't know why. It's the page has gotten a little wonky since the last big upgrade on
Let me
it.
log back in and go over there. So
Yeah, I'll be
SQL
in the middle
reports
of
library.
editing. I'll be in the middle of editing, and when I go to hit save, it says you need to log in. I'm logged in. I have to copy my stuff and refresh the page, and then try again, and it works. So
Yeah.
there's something a little goofy.
Well, there's this little star here, and if you highlight the star, it'll say SQL Reports Library has now been added to your watch list. And so as soon as Heather made that change, I almost immediately got an email saying Heather just updated the SQL Reports Library. So as you were doing that, I got the email as soon as you hit that. So that's one of the nice things if you're, there's the SQL reports library, there's the jQuery report, there's the jQuery library, there's the CSS library, there's the notices and slips library. All of those things, if you're keeping an eye on those, you can just tell, once you've got an account, you can tell the wiki to let you know when something gets changed there.
So what you're saying is that if you're really helpful and contributing to the community, you can really spam the watchers.
Yeah, totally.
With useful stuff.
Yeah.
I will also mention that we also contribute reports to Mana, which is something you can do within Koha, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yep.
All right. Well, Heather, thank you very much for sharing. I can't remember if you mentioned this at the beginning. I know that you talked about signing up for it, but is the sign up process fairly straightforward and easy?
It really is. It's super duper easy. I just clicked through, and yeah, very, very.
It's been years since I signed up, so
Yeah, geez. I think it's been like 12 years for me. You probably signed up about the same time, but
the wiki, you actually have to wait for somebody to actually acknowledge it though, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not
somebody's
100%
moderating
sure.
those subscriptions.
I would encourage people, even if you're not thinking about contributing, to go to this SQL reports library, create a wiki account, and add it to a watch list, because such useful things get added that then there might be things you never even thought could be so easy with a report or give you ideas for workflows.
All right. Well, Heather, thank you very much for sharing this. I'm sure that there are folks in the community, especially folks that are new to the community, that will appreciate learning about this. This has been a good resource for the community, for sure. I think of all the resources I've used in the Koha community, the wiki has been probably the most useful, not only getting pieces of information like jQuery or SQL reports that people have made, but also being able to feel like you can contribute and share what you've learned and figured out.
That's one thing I would definitely say, is that the wiki, it's a very low bar for contributions.
Yes.
I mean, it's a really easy way to contribute. And it's there, and nobody, it's like I always say about Koha, nobody is going to come after you and say, oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Well,
no,
now that you
everyone's
say
really
that,
well, we'll say that to George. Also,
Maybe he
I'd like
brought that up because somebody's already done that to him. I don't.
Nope. I've never had anybody in the Koha community saying, stop what you're doing. You're not being a good member of the community. I don't think I've ever encountered that. So,
no,
No.
or
it's not a
I've never,
community with that culture.
No.
yeah, I've never had somebody in the Koha community say, oh, well, you're just dumb. It's not that kind of community.
No, not at all. All right. Well, Heather, thank you for joining us.
Of course.
George,
Thank you for inviting me, and keep up your great videos, guys. I love them. I learn a lot.
thank you very much. George, I hope your kids will enjoy
Oh,
something
yeah, sure.
that we do someday.
They'll never even see it.
All right. We'll see everybody again in 2 weeks.